Listen,
You're the one doing things to everybody else.
listen. I go back to my fucking nonsense.
Yeah, get back on your bullshit, dude. Go for it. I'm here
Yeah,
for
fuck. I'm
Sons of
here
Trier
for the
support
bullshit.
bullshit. Support
Sons
the
of
bullshit so
Trier
everybody's not
bullshit.
on.
Patented
We're
Sons of Trier
fucked.
brand bullshit.
They just
Why?
died inside, I think.
Patented Sons of Trier is dying inside.
Well, you guys were going like a cruise, man. Keep going on the cruise, please. Because I'll tell you what, I got the sinus infection. My tooth is hurting. So like, you guys go back on the cruise for a minute. I'm gonna go get some water. Don't mind me. Don't act like I'm the boss. Don't do that. God.
Yeah. Or else.
Yeah. Put me on the spot.
The boss is away. Quick, everybody badmouth him.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I have a feeling Russian vodka is going to be real cheap here soon.
I doubt it will be. I honestly doubt that. Why would they make anything cheap for an American? Fuck that. I proposed today. I said I think the goal is to reintroduce white slavery like the British did before all this shit went down 400 years ago.
Probably, you know what? That's
Wait,
not a.
does that mean this is now MJP's show?
No, no. Why would they give up? Why would they give up black slavery? They're just going to add white slavery to the mix.
DEI is in the house.
Hell yeah, dude. They're going to do DEI slavery is what they're going to do. Rainbow
DEI
slavery.
slavery.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi's going to go out there and it's like, it's unfair that only black people were enslaved, which is already a lie, right?
Is it like a rotating cadre? Is it
Yeah.
the Asians are in charge of the blacks are in charge of the whites?
Yeah. Whites are in charge of the
I
Asians.
knew it.
The Jewish slaves will run
Whites-
everything, as is our way.
Listen, I wasn't going to say that. That's your joke
Mixed
to make,
people
not
rule the
mine.
world.
Thank you. Yeah, we already run the rest of the world. When it comes to white slavery, we're going to run that too. You know, but yeah, no, I'm pretty like well convinced like that's the ultimate MAGA project is going to be white slavery. The fucking national anthem is just going to be happiness in slavery. That way everyone's like, nah, being a slave is great. Do you get free food? Like that's why they say fucked up shit like that, right? Like that's why they really say like fucked up shit like, oh well, the slaves got free food. Yeah, on what condition? What did they have to do to get that free food? What was their life like? I want you to just finish that thought. What were they doing? What were they doing all day that they
Jesus
needed to be fed for free? You know?
Christ, we really are this goddamn dumb, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, American whites are the dumbest whites of out of whiteness, and like there have been dumb whites in the past. We are collectively the dumbest whites that ever whited. That's why when people are like, you guys kind of have this coming, like, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, we kind of deserve every fucking ounce of what we get. I'm not saying us, I'm saying America.
Yeah. All right, like I said, boss needs to go get some water. I'll be right back in a second. Remember to talk shit on him for the next 2.5 minutes. That's your window.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight.
So, am I allowed to just get really drunk and rant about how this deal is off for the show? Is that my position on the show? Do I get to do that?
Wait a minute.
What the
That's
deal is
my
off?
role.
Oh, can I be JD
But you can
Vance?
be
and can I
drunky
sit?
McDrunkerson tonight if you want. I can take a week.
No. You can be drunk Trump. I'm gonna be JD Vance. I'm gonna sit in the cuck chair while you tell off our Zelensky. I'm gonna like stare impassively and then try to help. The only problem is Trump doesn't actually know what he's gonna say next, so it's tough to like support a position when he's talked himself like fully around and back into supporting something that you were like, fuck, I thought we were against this 5 minutes ago. Ugh.
It's the cock and the liar. Sitting in his goddamn chair.
You should you think the Nazis are so terrible? That's how they feel about the abortion people. You should understand how they feel now and treat others accordingly. Well, dude, it's fucked up that you think women ought to be hanged for abortions. Like, that's so fucked up.
Considering he's like funded probably at least 100 in his lifetime.
Yeah. I'm back, by the way.
Hi.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm also eating on stream, and I don't give a shit.
I still haven't watched any of this video.
Don't do it. I'm like,
Okay.
I don't know. Like, my knee-jerk reaction is like, I didn't watch it. But I've watched clips of it. If you want to watch Trump just go off the fucking rails in real time, like, he scolds him. Like, here's the tone of it. If I was like, guys, you know what? I'm really tired around here of like the way you treat me. You're so mean, and you were really mean to my friend when he was on the show. Okay, you were really mean to him, and it really hurt my feelings, and I'm really, really upset with you. And just because I said that all of you like to sniff each other's farts, and that you all like to play in your own poop, like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, I get to say it. I get to do it. Okay, I get to. This is my show. We're on my show right now. And I have my fat hype man, and my fat hype man agrees that it's my show. That's why he's here. Okay, that's why he's here. Okay, so when you come on my show, and you do your catty little bitch thing where you call me a fucking fat ass, and you call me a greasy shit eater, and you say that I'm a dirty little chubby boy, and you say that I'm illiterate, and you call me a fat fucking pig. Okay, it hurts my feelings.
Oh, and you need to thank me for.
Yeah, you should
Your
be
help.
thanking me that I even talked about you at all, even if it was negative. Okay? And you know what? You owe me $250 billion. What do you think about that? That's all of you. Yeah, yeah, because you made me mad. You owe me $250 billion. I only gave you $25 billion, but you owe me $250 billion because I said so. That's why. Like, he was just a catty bitch the whole time. And JD Vance was like, excuse me, I'm over here lying about you and yelling loudly.
No. We just talked about this. JD Vance was in the argument cuck chair.
Yeah, he was like, I can't take somebody who hasn't lost their baby fat at 38 seriously. I can't do it.
Oh fuck!
I do have to give the GOP credit for a group of people who claim to despise the gays and their lifestyle. They managed to put two of the queeniest bitches ever in the White House on this go round.
Yeah. The most, you know how in high school you knew one gay dude who actually was still annoying, right? The gayness had nothing to do with it. He was just annoying, but he was annoying through that gay filter. That's Trump.
So I didn't have that. What I had is all the catty bitches that sat at a table and were just super like catty with each other. And that's what this reminds me of.
Yeah, Trump could have been in Mean Girls as one of the Mean Girls.
Basically.
Yeah.
Stop trying to make Ukraine happen.
Basically. Exactly.
Of like empathy, so they can't like come to agreement on even basic shit. Like one's just making up words and terms, and oh, you don't have any power here, and the next person is just like, what are you talking about? It's crazy.
Yeah. You just roll up and you just invite somebody over to scream at them and then kick them out. Like, he looks like a catty little bitch.
Serious question though, like, as far as this whole like American experiment thing, like, did the showrunner just quit?
Yeah.
Like
By the way, they
these later
basically
seasons are just, I don't know. I mean, it almost
basically
feels like it's been written by AI. Like it's just
they basically carried Zelensky from the movie Carrie or the book, however you want to go.
Yeah.
right, but here's the thing, like, because people are like, "Oh, this is unprecedented. This is terrible." Like, are people's memories? Excuse me. Are the memories that short? Like, one of the many scandals of the first regime was his conversation with Zelensky over the phone that was like, well, you got to do something for me. Like, go give me dirt on Hunter Biden and then, we'll help protect you. I mean, this is just, can you imagine what it was like for Zelensky when this fucking election happened and he was like, oh, fuck, it's that guy again.
For real. Well, one of the things he said, Trump said to Zelensky during this meeting is that, well, Putin's been through a lot. We went through a lot with what happened with the laptop and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, we went through a lot together.
We're really
And I'm not
close.
even kidding.
World War buddies.
Totally not into him in a sexual way, but I'm a little bit into him in a sexual way.
Yeah.
One of the things Russia
that's what
does.
I'm saying. It's like these two major queens.
Right.
Cosplaying. It's just so fucking weird. It's weird.
You gotta figure.
Like, we got the most as millennials and Gen X. We got the most fucked up timeline, I swear to God.
That's pretty awesome. This is the logical consequence of Bush era policies, though. Like, we're just on this trajectory since when, like, in like, it was like 2006, 2007.
Reagan.
No.
Reagan. We've been not in that.
That late, you think, Dan?
This is specifically because this has nothing to do. This isn't neoliberalism in America. It's actually Carter, but this is Bush's policy towards Putin specifically, because like when Putin took office about the same time that Bush 2 did. During the beginning of that arc, they were getting along just fine because they were both oil autocrats functionally.
Mm-hmm.
You go to about 2006, 2007, Russia floats the idea of joining NATO. Okay.
Did they really?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and this was the premise. Putin was like, well, okay, if America and Russia are in this NATO, we can dictate trade terms amongst the NATO members, and we can find an even rate of profit. That way every country can survive and function. And on top of that, realistically, who's going to get out of line when America and Russia, are on the same side? Who's actually going to get out of line? Because, like, the last time we teamed up, we won.
It reminds me of, like, if you took certain, like, wrestling storylines, but then made them, like, global.
Yeah, well, if you harken back to,
if
like,
the two of us tag team, we're undefeatable.
Kind of, though. Like, that's what Stalin and FDR did. Those guys teamed up and it turned out well for everybody but the Germans. So it's not unprecedented when Russia and America work together. Like, who's going to stop us? How are we going to fail? We can't.
Whereas I guess the major difference is that now I don't consider myself a professional wrestling expert, but the from what I remember from my youth and what I've picked up, in my decrepit years is generally if there's a matchup or if there's a an alliance being proposed between two former rivals.
Mm-hmm.
There's a question of like, well, is the good one gonna turn heel, or is the evil one gonna turn face? Whereas in this situation, they were already both evil to begin with, so there's really you don't have to worry about
heels
too much.
Well, yeah, where that goes is the Bush response was like, yeah, we're gonna fucking bomb you people if you get out of line. Russia floated, why don't we start a NATO and turn it more into an economic alliance, and we'll just have mutual security agreements? I mean, who's honestly gonna fuck with us? We responded with, we're gonna kill you, and I hate you, and I hope you fucking die. So, like, of course Russia was like, shit, what? Really? And we're gonna do that? And then to follow that up, we started encroaching in on their territory with NATO. So Russia has been in an anti-NATO war footing since like 2007. On top of that, when you lead up into the annexation of Crimea, Obama and Romney were very quick for both of them to just attack each other as being the most pro-Russian and cook up the most anti-Russian shit, right? When you go into that 2009, 2010 era, especially during the recession, you need an international enemy. Iraq's not as sexy anymore. We're just losing that war. Afghanistan's not sexy. We're losing that war. Obama killed Osama bin Laden, and that didn't even matter. That didn't fucking register. So what's easy enough to do? We'll start threatening with the Russians. Russians go, oh shit, NATO's acting up. Ukraine starts applying for NATO membership. Ukraine starts going, yeah, we'll put guns on the border in exchange for being NATO members. Fast track us. Russia goes, well, what the fuck is this? If you're NATO members, we can't rent that port because we're the thing NATO is designed to kill. That was reaffirmed under the Bush administration. NATO is designed to kill us. You're going to take away our port. And at that same time,
oh my god, I feel like I just walked into a game of Settlers of Catan. I hate this shit.
It's ridiculous. It is a little bit ridiculous, but you want to top that off with the fact that Russia's been renting that port since like '93. They've been renting that port that we know as Crimea, right? They've been renting that. There's Russian troops everywhere. So when they go, we're going to move NATO in, Russia goes with, okay, I dare you. I fucking dare you. Watch what we'll do. What do they go? We keep doing it. We keep pushing it. We keep pushing it. Finally, they just annex Crimea. They just declare it theirs.
You know what, Dan? Thank you so much, because I've been asking people for years why, when that happened, because that was like what, 2014?
2013, 2014, yeah.
When they went in there and were just like, oh no, this is ours. It's actually always been ours.
Mm-hmm.
And then people started pointing out, well, there are a lot of ethnic Russians that live there. Mm-hmm. And this, that, and the other. The lack of any kind of outcry, not just that our president and our government like did nothing about invasion of what like was theoretically an ally. But it was like there was zero pushback from anyone about it. And I was like, what the actual fuck? Like, wars
I don't think they were really
fought.
an ally as such as a
well, okay,
neutral.
convenient pawn.
Trading partner, fast tracking to military ally under NATO.
But the thing is, like, I don't know. I don't really know that much about like history and politics and shit, but I fucking know that Crimea was like the subject of a lot of wars, trying to keep it under control. And we're not saying anything that about Russia taking it over, except like, now Russia.
Well, that's exactly.
We don't think that was cool, and that was it.
I mean, Crimea has been a sore spot in that relationship since its annexation, but the reason it was annexed is because it was like, again, the Russians have been paying for it since '93 because they wanted access to that port desperately, or they lose out on one of their trading avenues. Like, it's very hard for them to get to Africa then. And that opens up a lot of trade if they have access to Africa, right? And that makes sense. Everybody wants access to Africa. It's weird to be in the one spot where you're like the biggest country in the world, talking about the second biggest continent in the world, and like one thin strip of land is what separates you with the ability to trade with them. Well, they wanted, what Russia wanted was, we want a neutral Ukraine so we can rent this, and so you guys can trade with the West, and we can use Ukraine to launder our goods to the West, and vice versa. So
we want that port.
And we want that port. We, of course, said, we're going to fucking murder you. We hope you die. So when we started another round of, we're going to fucking murder you, kick you out of your port, we hope you die, they responded with, well, now it's ours. Now, if you bomb that, that's Russian territory and we can respond. That's not Russian lease, that's Russian territory. That's our sovereign territory. We have rights to respond in self-defense to that now. Like,
you can't kick us out of this port
if
it's our port.
Correct. Yeah, you can't cut our lease and cut us off from this to punish us if it's just ours. So now it's ours. And they were like, we're going to leave it at that. Keep pushing it. Now, at the same time, right, Ukraine at that era, their president was pro-Ukraine, not pro-reunification. Because we're only 30 years out from the fall of the Soviet Union. There is a majority who want a close relation. There was a majority of people who wanted a close relationship with Russia, and they tended to go with what we would call Eastern Ukraine, or as they wanted to be called, Western Russia. When you get to this era, like when they talk about the Russians meddling in our politics, that's because Ukraine was their test place. They meddled in their elections, as we meddled in their elections, and they won. And they had a pro-Russian president in there. So now we start fast-forwarding to this era, right? Zelensky comes in after this debacle, because with the annexation of Crimea, right? The annexation of Crimea, they go, well, I don't think we really like Russia so much. So that pro-Russian opinion fades a little bit, and not that the anti-Russian pro-independence people win. Zelensky gets put into power.
We got this guy. A lot of people think he's funny. He looks good on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put him in office.
And he's pro-us, pro-Ukraine. We put him in. We put in Donald Trump. Now, during that era, of course, there's tension because Zelensky wants a firmer position away from it. There's a lot of, in the very eastern part of Ukraine / Western Russia, depending on which side of that issue you're on, they start house-to-house fighting. They go through what you could call the Troubles. During that era, we're fighting a hot war in Syria against everybody who's in Syria. It does not matter what party is present in Syria, we're fighting a hot war against them. The Russians are fighting a hot war in Syria ostensibly as our political ally. So, of course, the Trump administration orders the bombings of the Russians. So,
wow.
Yeah. Well, here's you got to read between the lines on this one, because the way we reported was we bombed Assad's Air Force, right? Assad has a fucking lot of MiGs and not a lot of pilots. So, who's piloting these Russian MiGs? And why are they white and from Russia? So we bomb them. Russia responds by firing missiles at our aircraft. We decide that we're not equipped to fight that war. We back down. And we convert to a proxy war. But during that proxy war, we were arming every side. We, at one point, were paying the Russians to kill terrorists that we paid to kill Russians.
Well, yeah, because it's like the underpants gnomes thing from like South Park. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, corner the market on weapons and destruction devices. Like, be the foremost producer of that shit in the world. Mm-hmm. Let's not talk about the middle part exactly, or what we have to do, or what happens. But the end one is 3, profit, because, well, there's this war going on, and they need their arms, and we happen to make a lot. This isn't really our fight, so we can't be that choosy about who we sell them to.
Right. And we're allied with the Russians. Of course, we should give them money to prosecute this war. But these guys hate Assad. We need them to fight Assad's actual army. So we're going to pay them to fight them. Oh, oopsie doodles. Looks like Russian infantry were fighting them too. Whoops. We're America. We're nutty. Who's that? Are these two rival groups errantly fighting the Syrian government, but also fighting each other? Why not get a cut of that action? It's incredible. It's raw, incredible bullshit. And mind you, this is all happening under the Trump administration, right?
Right. And well, that was before they rooted out DEI.
Right.
Because we still had this, you know, libtard idea that, like, you know, people are equal. And the bleeding hearts in Congress, because Trump didn't have all of Congress squared away, or maybe it was the Senate. I don't know. But he didn't have, it wasn't full red. He had a lot of opposition. You know, so the bleeding hearts, of course, would think, well, doesn't everyone deserve access to the best weapons?
Yeah. That's our
equal opportunity, you know.
Equal opportunity mass murder. Oh yeah. But now,
as long as you can write the check, you have access to that. And
right.
That's why we have the greatest weapons systems in the world.
Correct. So, we're now in an active hot war with Russia as of like 2018, 2019, right? We now have Ukraine and Russia are in a trade disagreement again. And we're post Crimea. We have actual Russian separatists active in the Donbass, active in, I think it's Kirkutsk. I always forget the second one's name, and I apologize for that. But there's two Ukrainian oblasts that are attempting to either become autonomous proxy Russian states or just become territorially Russian, because there are pro-Russian agitators there. It is, in my estimation, that is an organic movement, and one that is, since it organically is coming from people who live there, entirely like permitted by Russia. I don't think that was like the Russian KGB kind of shit. I don't think that was FSB bullshit. I think that was organic, and they just went, cool. Definitely give them guns. Those guys are awesome. And that, of course, sparks Ukraine to go, well, gee, looks like we should consider joining NATO again, right? Of course, we enter talks about joining NATO. Russia says, hey, you can't join NATO. This is all through 2020, fucking COVID. You know what I mean? This is all through fucking COVID. You guys can't join NATO. You need to be neutral. Well, you're attacking us. Well, we're not attacking us. That's your problem. Those are your people. Well, you're making it worse. Yeah, who cares? That's your problem, right? So there is an element of unfair. Like, when people just pretend that Russia's fucking morally innocent in it, they're co-belligerent. There's two belligerents. It's America and Russia. We're the belligerents. Ukraine really is on the defensive here, right? So that cycle starts up again. We spent an entire year essentially negotiating whether or not we're going to war. Joe Biden gets into office. Joe Biden is a Cold Warrior par excellence. And there's no way Joe Biden is not going to back NATO. This is all information the Russians have going into 2021 when they launch their invasion, right? Because Joe Biden essentially promises, oh yeah, you're going to get guns. Don't you worry. You want all the missiles. Because we want to put nuclear missiles in Ukraine and point them at Moscow and keep them under our foot. Moscow, of course, argues you can't do that. We'll invade. You want to point missiles at Russian territory, you'll point them right at fucking Ukraine, because it's all going to be our territory anyway. You won't be in deep enough. And if you keep it up, every state that borders us, we're going to just annex. We're going to push you fuckers back into Europe. We want a buffer. We don't want Russian people under the threat of nuclear war. We don't want Russian people being invaded by America again. We don't want you fuckers here. So if we have to, we'll push you back. The border will be nothing but states friendly to Russia and fucking Russian territory. Your territory turned into Russia, you know what I mean? We respond with, yeah, we're going to put some bombs there. What are you going to do about it? Thinking like, obviously, they're going to back down. But they just promised to invade. So then they amass those troops on the border and they go, last chance. Ukraine goes, holy fuck, they're going to invade us. You need to give us guns. And we go, hell yeah, we're going to give you guns. So we give them guns. So, of course, Russia invades. Now here we are. We live in that world. Notably, about a month in, Russia says, hey, we're going to take the Donbass and Kirkutsk, and then you guys can have your shit back. Zelensky goes, all right, we'll remain neutral. We just got to run it past the Americans since we're getting guns from them and we're still prosecuting this war. America goes, yeah, you're not going to do that. You do that and we're going to put guns on your border anyway. and we're going to put them right on your border, like 10 feet away. That way we can threaten Russia with them. If you're joining NATO or you're not fucking doing nothing. Plus, we're not going to pay to help you rebuild if you do that. You can go beg Russia for money. Russia says, of course we can help you rebuild. We'll throw that right in the peace package. Well, Zelensky hears you're going to annex territory anyway. We're about to lose more territory, and now you're going to run money in. The last time you ran money into our country, you used that as a pretext to take shit over, which is true. That's what they did. So he goes, yeah, no fucking deal. The Russians go, all right, we're going to take shit anyway. So now they're up to like half of Ukraine is theirs. And we're going through that same round of arguments now, only this time the thug's back in. And the thug is on one hand trying to tell Russia, it's like, hey man, it would be really cool if you just stopped doing this war. You paid for the rebuilding, and we'll split their mineral rights 50-50. You just get the hell out entirely, leave Ukrainian territory intact, keep Crimea. We'll split their minerals 50-50. Putin said, go fuck yourself. Trump doesn't know how to handle that. Hence why he's throwing a fit trying to make Vladimir Putin look good and sympathetic on TV. Because he's trying to beg him to take that deal. Not happening. You
mean Zelensky?
No, I mean Putin. Zelensky's not a factor anymore. That's one of the things that's kind of a myth. He's out here panhandling. He's a grifting little hoe on TV now. That's all he's got. We've reduced him to that. The Ukrainians don't have agency in this situation. We can pretend all we want that they do, but they don't have any agency now. It's between us and Putin.
Well, right. And my understanding of like today's meeting is that's pretty much what Zelensky was saying. Mm-hmm. Like, you guys are the ones that like got us here. Mm-hmm. You can't just tell us, take your toys and go to what's left of your home. That's not okay. And they were like, you little bitch, why aren't you signing?
Yeah.
Why are you not sufficiently grateful for the way that we've helped to destroy your nation?
They're mad at Zelensky because Zelensky didn't win. That makes them look really bad. Because now the Trump administration is facing a loss.
Never to win. It's to sell weapons.
What's that?
The goal was never to win. It was to sell weapons and to privatize Ukraine.
That was Biden's goal. Biden was under the delusion that NATO, by running guns into Ukraine, the smaller force could beat, with superior technology, could beat a larger force with inferior technology. There's a couple problems with that. Number one, Russian technology is actually, relatively speaking, comparable enough to ours that is not a hedge. They also outnumber the Ukrainians by a lot. So you have a superior fighting force in terms of raw numbers with technology that is good enough. The difference in a millisecond, people think when they talk firearms and they talk explosives, they think that millisecond really matters all that much. Apparently it doesn't. And that's demonstrated by the fact that you can load up Ukrainian peasants with as many fucking American-made firearms as you want, and they aren't doing shit. Also, it's arguable that on certain things, not everything, but on certain things, American technological superiority is bullshit. We certainly do pay more for shit.
The thing they don't know, the thing they don't realize is that all that money goes to their buddies. It goes into different pockets, but the military strength of the U.S. is not as great as it should be. China is a threat because they can do so much more with so little money.
Yeah, they spend their money more efficiently.
Parasites and contractors and everybody sticking their hands out and getting a cut. Like, it's basically just laundering rather than actually any military force that you're paying for.
We're getting to the root of a problem, aren't we?
The United States Department of Defense is basically like the largest money laundering scheme that anyone has ever come up with.
Correcto mundo.
Like come on. I mean, if you could succeed one single audit, like the things I heard, because like I'm military adjacent due to family and circumstances and yada yada yada. So I know way more than I should about the military. Mm-hmm. And the shit that they have go disappearing, and the shit that they leave behind when they end an engagement is astounding. entire submarines, entire fucking carriers, entire tanks, entire helicopters, just gone.
Oh yeah.
No one with an explanation. No one.
And even just on the little fiddly levels, like all the administrative,
Mm-hmm.
like
What happened
no,
to it? I don't
no
know.
business, not even like Enron level shit. Like, yeah, shit that no one should be able to get away with accounting wise.
And they can't control them boys. Them boys, if they want, they fucking run drugs. They do whatever the fuck they want.
It's
So
Fucking crazy.
let's assume, for the sake of argument, this is all just an aside before we get to it. The defense budget in a year is about $820 billion right now. If we assume that all soldiers, all military personnel total to about 3 million people, and I'm being real generous here, and let's assume they all work a full-time schedule. They're all compensated for a full-time 40-hour week, 52 weeks a year schedule. And if we assume they make $20 an hour.
Are you talking about the civilians?
I'm talking about just a fucking 3 million people work for the Army, right? I'm fixing a number here just to get an idea of what these wages look like.
Okay, it's a math problem. Go ahead.
Math problem, right? We come up with a $124.8 billion. Our defense budget is $820 billion. Where the fuck is the other $700 billion going? We pay more. This is like the healthcare problem, right? So in healthcare, there's in all healthcare systems total across the 50 states, our territories, plus our overseas healthcare workers, plus our federal components, right? There's about 5 to 6 million employees, 7 million maybe, right? If we add health insurance to that, probably about 8 to 9 million employees, something like that. So we have 9 million employees. If we pay them all an average of $20 an hour, which, thanks to CEOs, that average is actually way higher, but that's kind of a false number. You know what I mean? We pay these people all an average of about $20 an hour. You're only coming up with about $200 billion a year, right? Why would healthcare cost $5 trillion a year? And furthermore, if it costs $5 trillion a year, $40 trillion over like an 8-year period, as they often predict, right? Why the fuck are the healthcare outcomes so bad? Where's the goddamn money actually going? Oh, it's markup.
Maternal mortality rates.
Yeah. Hit me.
For people that want everyone to, for people that want there to be a lot of white babies, and more babies in general, you know, as long as they're not the wrong kind, or if they don't conveniently fit into our plans to feed them into the meat grinder, whatever. We want more babies, Merkin babies. Why do the maternal mortality rates look like that? If that's
why are they going up?
And why are our outcomes the worst in like any kind of developed nation and many that aren't very?
Yeah, we're the only colonial power that is shaped like we're falling into a colonized nation. Why? Where's all the money going? How's come we're paying? There's $699 billion roughly that we really can't account for in military spending. And I've already said, you know, we can average about $125 billion. If we want to be generous, you can say $130 billion goes to wages. Okay, we need to pay those wages. Those people are working, right? It's fine. You can have an argument about whether or not they should be doing that job, but we're going to say, for the sake of for the moment, right? Labor is labor. You have that much you need to pay in wages yearly. Fine, we have the money to pay it. It's $130 billion, and I'm putting some leniency in there, right? $130 billion, an extra $5 billion to grow on. Why the fuck are we paying $800 billion a year? How'd the Pentagon lose over 20 years $20 trillion? Where's all that fucking money going? Where did it go?
At one point, well, they basically spent a year's worth on that stupid fucking airplane that doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, the F-35.
Like
I mean,
yeah, 1.6 trillion or some shit on that thing.
Yeah, but that's but once again, that's like a total number.
Yeah,
it's one of those things that gets like, yeah, but no matter what the actual amount per year or total so far is, even that fucking boondoggle doesn't cover where is the fucking money.
Where's the fucking money
No,
go?
I know. Yeah, that's just.
Oh yeah, it's
just
absurd.
saying, Jesus Christ.
There's contracts like you need to produce this, and then there's a contract that says don't produce it. We're contracting you to produce it. We want you on retainer to produce it, but here's double the money essentially to not actually do the thing. We want you on retainer to do the thing if we decide to do the thing, but since we're not doing the thing, don't do the thing.
And you can't do it for anybody else either.
And you can't do it but you can do it for other people. We can't do it for us.
Enter Elon Musk.
Not that. Fortunately, nothing to do with this right now. But that's
by the way,
point.
as a total aside, the next trick from Elon Musk is going to be, I have saved the U.S. government $1 billion by not charging them $1 billion for my consultation.
Oh, no, hell no. There's no way he's doing that.
You tell me. You tell me that's not coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm only going to charge you a couple $100 million instead of the multiple billion that I should be charging.
Yes,
it's both a write-off and
I saved you 10%.
Yeah.
Look at all the savings you got.
I am ever so slightly shocked that he had JD Vance on the call or on the call. Jesus Christ.
On the cuck chair
during the meeting.
It's probably in his contract though that at some point during the first however many days he gets to be seen with the president and go through his repertoire.
I was just thinking
they can't bring Musk back in
instead of Elon.
Everybody's pissed off at Musk.
Yeah.
I mean, but when you say everybody, I'm just thinking of Joe Bag of Donuts. Is Joe Bag of Donuts aware of what a wrecker he is?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
It's so bad that even Joe Bag of Donuts is mad at fucking Trump and Musk right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know what? That encourages me to hear. Because
they took their job.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, well, I mean, there has been a lot of oh my God, I never thought the leopards would eat my face stuff. But a lot of what I've seen of that is these people who are oh, Mr. Musk, President Trump, you were fucking around and it impacted me directly in a negative way. And that is not at all what I thought would happen. I thought you were going to fuck shit up for other people and I could be like, tee-hee-hee, fuck you. And that's not...
They were not thinking. There was no thought involved in that.
Well,
they just did what
they said. Our team, we're go team.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, why is the leopard eating my face?
Well, yeah, because here's the thing. They thought they were on a team. They thought they were on a team. But it would be okay, here, fucking Eagles. But it would be if you thought that you personally mattered to the Eagles and something related to them,
Well, no,
It's
that's a
the
good
billionaire
example.
stripper
That's a
pole
good
thing
exa-
that
that is
we.
a that is actually a good example because you know what happens when they buy a stadium? They spend
Well, that was
taxpayers' money in that area.
MJP. That was the big thing though in Philly this whole past year. The Sixers and the Flyers share the same building right now. Something having to do like with the leases and whatnot. So they decided that the Sixers should build a big ass stadium for which we would unfortunately like have to bulldoze a lot of Chinatown. But it would be so great for commerce in the area and this and that. This is down like Center City adjacent. And they're thinking like all the people that come for shit from like New Jersey or like out in Delco and whatever, a lot of those fuckers are driving. Like what the fuck? Like what are you even trying to do? Part of the plans involved work on the surface that would crush one of the major stations and administrative offices for SEPTA.
Yeah.
Which they were banking on to like, oh yeah, well everybody will just take public transportation and it'll be great because there's no problems with public transportation already. One of the major ones, which is like, it is routine when I am using public transportation that they announce that certain shit is going to be fucked up because of operator unavailability. They literally do not have enough people to run these fucking trains, which, and I believe it pays fairly well for the area, but like obviously something must be so fucked up about those working conditions or you know their requirements or whatever, because like there's a lot of people that I would trust to do that, so there's got to be a reason people ain't doing it, so they must be getting fucked constantly. Anyway, sorry, that's my little rant.
The corporations know they have all this power, and nobody's hiring, and they're not funding nothing, and the jobs they're getting shittier and more bullshitty, and expecting people to be more cunty and fucking yes manish, and like people just don't want to fucking be bothered with it. Like even a job that pays well, like a fucking bus driver, they're going to keep making they're shitifying it. They're in
Exactly.
They're to the extreme right now. Right now is not a good time to be a fucking anything.
If you actually have to work,
especially after the pandemic, where the workers had a whole bunch of power because literally not everybody could work, and then a bunch of people died.
Yeah.
And then they come off of that and then see the fucking dickhead boss running around like, oh, I get to run everything, and now all of a sudden everything is my way or the highway, and I don't care about your opinion, and you have to work all these extra hours and do all of these extra routes and fucking deal and let the racists do the bullshit they're doing. Like, come on, man.
Great. Like
federal job too, so they're worried about fucking numbnuts coming through cutting their job.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I'm glad regular people are paying attention.
Yeah.
To this at least. That, like I said,
when it hits their pockets, they pay close attention.
They do give a shit more than.
Right, but like how like some people are prone to like throw their blame at the wrong thing.
No.
Even if they're putting their blame on the wrong thing, there's only so much you can blame on a job. There's only so far.
Well, no, but I mean, like I'm glad
immigrants, but then you're still not going to be working that bus route.
Right. But I mean, I'm glad that to hear that people are being like, "Oh, Trump and Musk are fucking shit up," rather than that like everybody just collectively deciding to blame it on something else.
Yeah.
It doesn't
That has
matter if
nothing
they blame it on Trump or if they blame it on something else. The end result is still that you have no bus drivers.
Yeah, but how does that hurt anyone but us? I guess is
It hurts the employers. It hurts everybody. We need bus drivers. How does it not hurt everybody?
Well, no, I'm thinking of like people who have never ridden a city bus.
I mean,
Like,
look, if the good jobs aren't getting anybody in there, then what are the bad jobs doing?
word.
You think because there's no construction workers, you're gonna have fucking people flipping burgers?
Well, maybe. No, of course not.
I mean, regardless, everybody wants the high paying jobs now. They know that there's no security. They know that there's no fucking fulfillment. There's no purpose. There's none of that shit. All that shit's out the window. There's not even baseline stability anymore. They
So,
want the
I
money
mean,
and they don't want to give them the money. So they're like, fuck it. I will work the minimum. And fuck
I
you.
guess what I part of my thing is like, okay, like why are there so many delivery drivers, but there's nobody to drive me up the rest of the city on this train?
Because they need money now. Delivery drivers,
Okay.
they lost their job. They need a job now. You don't go say, okay, I lost my job. I'm going to apply for this federal position that's going to take fucking 6 months to get and learn the
Oh,
route and do.
we're talking about the federal workers specifically.
Well, I mean, we're talking about any higher paid stuff, but the federal workers especially right now. You know, they did stuff like cutting all their jobs. They can't get those people back. How many of those people are just going to retire? How many of those people are just going to say, "Fuck it, I guess I'll just go overseas somewhere." How many of them are just going to say, "You know what? I have family stuff come up. I'm gonna take care of my family."
Right.
How
Well,
many
because
of them
the
are just
other
going to
thing
say,
is,
"Fuck it. Like why am I working so hard at that? Like I'm just going to fucking put in the bare minimum, work as a barback."
right, or even if you take a corporate job that was similar to your government job, dude, it's gonna pay way better.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I've always told people, you'll know I've gone over to the dark side when I tell you I'm gonna go work for the insurance company. 'Cause a lot of my job over time has been figuring out how to argue with the insurance company in a way they'll be like, "All right, fine, fuck you, we'll pay for it."
But here's the kicker on that one. Don't nobody want to work for insurance. They seen what happened to Luigi. They don't want to fucking work there.
Well, to be fair, this was pre-Luigi. Like, not everyone had an
If you have
icon to
any
think
single
of.
choice, like and just like you said, if you have any choice of any other job that's even slightly more moral, that pays even remotely in the same realm, you're gonna take that.
Well, I do, and maybe you would, but
It's
not a
like
lot of
like
people feel that way, I
well, there
don't
is a
think.
psychic tax to doing toxic shit. You can't do that every day.
Can't.
It takes a very special kind of person to sit there and ruin people's lives day after day after
I
day.
Because well, the thing is, like, that shit bothers me, and I have to sleep at night. That's why I
That's
choose
a
not
part
to
of the
be like
job.
that.
That's part of what you're
That's the
getting
psychic
paid to
tax.
do.
Like,
Not very many people
I
have that. And then they keep adding extra criteria. Now they want you to prospect and go out there and talk to people and try to get more people on insurance on you from your side, from your contacts. Like, come on, bro.
Oh, no, I wasn't talking about that part of insurance. I was talking about the denials people.
Oh, that's even worse.
Oh yeah, the denial should be even worse.
Because the whole thing is, I mean, and I've been offered.
And Pfizer's
I've been offered, but here's the thing. I was so good at figuring out like how to hit the right button. Like, what do they call it on like in pinball, like, or like in pool, where you know where certain sweet spots are, and it's like, that's gonna make all the balls do the thing. I had that with their rules for how to get something paid for. It was incredibly time consuming, but it was really, really rewarding because sometimes I would be like, I'm gonna try to get this pushed through just as a fuck you. Like, we really should follow certain rules for this, but no, fuck you. We need this medicine. So what I figured out at a certain point was, if in my my little notes, you know, because there's certain parts it is actually free text. Basically, I'm gonna put in the notes how much it's gonna cost you if you deny this. Like, sure, you can deny this medication, but before the person got it, here's the number of times that they were in the hospital for like a really, really long time. Or, here are the people that like ended up getting injured because they weren't taking this medication and what that cost in lawsuits. So sure, you don't have to give us the med. I'm just saying it's already saved this amount of money. But you know, if you want to deal with the fallout, that's on you.
But yeah, you take this to the personal level. Like we're talking the collective level. If that shit's happening to you, this should happen to all kinds of people all over the place, and then it still falls into something entirely different.
Yeah, it's just I just always thought that I would probably do very, very well for myself if I didn't have a soul and I was the person receiving the requests to, please, mom, may I have my medicine, please? And
but
like,
you do have a soul, and that's the problem. A lot of people
right?
have a soul.
It's a huge problem.
Maybe
It's an occupational handicap.
Maybe you wouldn't have done well if you didn't have a soul, because you wouldn't have figured out the legal part, so the fucking shady part wouldn't have even we wouldn't even got anywhere. Because those cut purses, cutthroat people, fucking being in a den of wolves sucks. If you're not the alpha wolf, if you're not the fucking person on top, you know you're gonna get thrown out eventually for not being the alpha wolf. No matter, even if you don't have the cutthroat mentality, even if you don't have the empathy, you know, if you're not the top demon, then you're not the demon king. Then what kind of fucking demon are you? You're a fucking peon. That doesn't feel good. And
some people seem to find comfort in that role.
And then take that and make it entirely social wide. Every job, every location, it's all the same. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Don't nobody want to take that insurance job?
Yeah, you don't end up doing those jobs because you like them.
You do it because you need some goddamn money.
Absolutely. Like, no, I mean,
some of us have empathy. Hold on. It depends on what kind of insurance you're doing, though.
I'm talking about the worst. We talking the worst of the worst.
Gay sex insurance?
Commercial.
That's not even the worst.
What about volcano insurance?
Diddy insurance. Diddy insurance is the answer.
Diddy insurance. Yes, I insured Mr. Didworth.
Hey, remember how you guys ever seen things where it was like, famous movie star insured her legs with Lloyd's of London for however much, right?
Yeah.
For
Like
infinity
people used to like
billion
insure body
dollars.
parts and shit, like if they were famous.
Yeah.
Does that kind of shit still exist? And if it does, is there like a parallel market in like
destroying it?
Well, I'm
breaking their legs. Yeah.
Actually, that's funnier.
Yeah.
But no, but this was like an actual thought of my cottage cheese brain tonight. Like, is there like a different vertical for like social cred, like insurance for if you get canceled, or
Ooh, I don't think we should start
insurance
selling
for
it.
like when your grift gets discovered and you need to like go hide out for a while the lawyers prepare your response.
I don't think there is, but I think we just found our next business venture. You have an alternative minimum income of so many thousands of dollars because you paid monthly. You know, you paid monthly so much. And we take over managing you. That way we can get you your first job, and once you get your first job after you're canceled, that's when it breaks and you just go back to paying your insurance premiums.
You have to use our manager for a certain amount of time after the incident.
Yeah.
To, because otherwise you're just being reckless and we don't have to pay out. Our not a care manager, our reputation manager.
Yeah. You mean pimp?
Will deliver you personalized recommendations.
Well, you can't see me doing air quotes right now, but no, we don't mean pimp.
Professional.
Yeah.
We don't mean
in a management profession.
Well, this thing is always wrong. No, we don't mean pimp. No, comma, we air quotes don't mean pimp. Yeah.
I just remembered the thing. This was months back, but I brought up the whole concept of like when everyone whose birth certificate says female has to have like a male guardian, like husband, father, like other relative. But like if you don't have anyone that like you could be assigned to, then you have to get like a worker from the Bureau of Guardianship Services. And you suggested that the one like running the whole jam was like a super butch lesbian girl boss.
Yeah, definitely. I don't remember that, but I say a lot of things that I don't remember. So like this is fun for me. You should have just taken credit for the idea. You should be like, what if it was this? I'd be like, that's amazing. That's like such a good idea. So, like, honey, if you don't have a bail to protect you.
But that detail, that is 100% Dan Cohen. I'm not
steal my work.
Do I strike you as a stolen valor individual?
Well, it's fine. Stealing valor rocks. I do it all the time. When I shave my head bald, people are always like, thank you for your service. And I'm just like, yeah, sure, whatever. I just go, it ain't no thing. And they're just like, what? I'm like, yeah, I don't care.
His head goes walking around disheveled, like half bum looking with a military jacket on.
Yep.
And with some patches on it. Yeah.
I put a bunch of fake medals on there. I put 4 of the ones where the guy died.
Be sure to be extra unsociable and shitty.
Yeah.
See which places you can get to give you a discount.
They always ask for my ID.
Oh, but like certain places, like it, you know, if it's like a veterans get free coffee kind of thing, and they don't question too hard whether you're a veteran.
Every place around here does. Too many people pull that shit. I just like the Stolen Valor. People would be like, "Hey, young man, thank you for your service." I'm like, "Yeah, definitely, no problem, dude. It's all for you." I do the nod with the finger, like the click and the point. I'm like, "Hey, it's for you, buddy."
Oh, my service under your capitalist hellscape. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're welcome.
When you're eating your Big Mac, think of me and my war crimes.
Yeah, no, I just like I do that, and they're just like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm like, they don't need to know. Like I'm like, "Oh, sure, the posting wars, man. Those are brutal."
I just realized that it's definitely not feasible for you to tell them anything about what happened to you in Nam.
Yeah, no, it is. That's just not going to be realistic. Like I can't be like I fought in Nam, but I can definitely be like I've set up sweatshops in Nam.
They're like, "How old are you?"
My daddy's left nut got shot off by a Huey.
I lost my
So
brother
I
in
must
Nam.
have came from the right one.
Yep.
What would have happened if it had been his right nut?
Yep.
Did I say Nam? I meant ham.
Love you all. I'm going to jet. Have a wonderful evening.
You know what? It's a good time to do that. Y'all have a good night. Don't die, America.
Don't die, America.